I forgot what I was saying there. Today we are going to be doing a portrait of Snoop Dogg. I'm going to basically be showing you how to do a portrait from scratch, putting the actual paperwork together, sticking it to the board, gluing the board, and also routing it all out into a finish. So we'll get cracked on, and that's what it's going to look like in the end. Right guys, we're going to start the process of gluing the board up now. So what you want to try and do is, to stop your boards from warping, is you want to put the other one the other way. So you've got one with a smiley face and one with a miserable face. You put them together, that way it stops you getting a bow in your board. So what we'll do is we'll stand those edges up and get us glue. You're best off to have all your clamps around you and all your things that you're going to need. That way you're not having to run about and find stuff halfway through what you're doing. Make sure you spread your glue everywhere. You want it virtually over every last little bit, that way you know you're getting a good tight bond. Basically we're just bonding these two pieces of wood together. So we'll get us two chocks, one above, one below. We'll tighten this clamp up, that stops your boards from lifting it and sideways and sort of raising up. It just keeps them flat and level. Always ensure you get squeeze out. If you haven't got squeeze out, you haven't got enough glue on there. Take the excess off beforehand, because if you don't, it's just going to take you a lot longer to sand it down, and it's a pain in the ass. So like I say, just get a bit of card or a bit of wood or anything like that, and just take this excess glue off before it starts drying up. It saves you a lot of work in the long run. If you leave that on and you let that go hard, then you're going to go through probably 2 sandpaper pads just with glue that's clogging your sandpaper pad up. So it's just best to take the excess off first, that way it saves you time in the long run. Right, that's all glued up now. We've made sure that those gaps are clean, we've made sure that it's all tight and it's all glueless now. So that's going to make life a lot easier now when it comes to sanding it down afterwards, because you haven't got all that residue to take off. Right guys, we've got the image here. We've got the small version there that I'll use for reference. So while I'm actually carving, we'll have this at the side of us so we can use it as a reference point if we need to. So as you can see, we've left his edge and his border, so that we can just tape that to it. And on the top we have no edge whatsoever, so that we can put it onto this edge, so that you've got a little bit of a flap on the back. As you can see, we've got them together there nicely. We'll get his tape again. Once again, finger on top, finger on bottom. What I tend to do is, because these are in 4 pieces, if you line your top piece up in your centre on that mark there, and your bottom piece on that, you know you're dead centre then, so you're not having to mess about. I always put a little line of spray on there first, just so you're not flapping when you're doing your rat carving out. Because as you go through one piece of paper, it'll still leave the other one underneath. And then you just apply to the paper, do not spray onto the board. If you spray onto the board, it can be a nightmare to sand off. So, and that is literally our image all ready to go and to start carving. A lot of people don't carve through paper. The reason they don't carve through paper is because they find it difficult with burring up and things going missing when you're routing out. But this is how I've always done it. I don't think it's worth spending a lot of money and a lot of time on doing transfers and ink print outs and everything like that. I've got my image, it's there on the deck, you just go for it as it is. Right guys, as you can see we've got all the outline done now. We've taken all the bits out that we need to take out. I've just put pencil marks on all the black bits that need to be taken out. You don't have to do this, but I just find it easier to know where you're going and making sure you're not taking out bits that you don't want to take out. So it's literally just a case now we're going around taking all the pencil marks out. Once we've done that, we'll be on to spraying and lacquering.
So that again.
I'm going one of them fucking poses that's in positions like that, just stands there for hours. Like a fortune. What more am I doing here? Right guys, so we've got all the carving done now. We've taken all the middle bits out. So we've taken every little bit of that shading out that we've done. So now it's just a case of getting the can. Now I tend to use stove paint because it's a dry lacquer as such. It sort of doesn't leave a lot of residue and it doesn't pile up and you get a good covering with it. So we'll just do that now and then we'll sand it down afterwards. So you want to just spray lightly, you don't want to be putting loads on. As you can see, it's starting to fill in now, so you don't want to go too heavy because if not you'll get loads of build up on your board and it makes it really hard to sand down and time consuming, and it also takes loads of sandpaper. So we just give gentle little sprays as light as possible, just making sure that we get every last little bit. We've gone all the way around it now, checked all my angles and different lights as such so you can see if you have missed anything, and we haven't missed anything. Maybe just a touch there. Yeah. And now it's just a case of letting that dry, and once it dries we'll come back and we'll sand it down. Right guys, we're back. We've got 60 grit sandpaper on us disc sander. So what we do is we use the 60 grit first just to get rid of the majority of the thicker stuff, and then we'll go on to a 120 afterwards just to finish it off. Give it a blow out now and reveal what it's going to look like. And that's your final image guys. So what we'll do is now we'll put an edge on here, probably a bevel edge, and then what we'll do is we'll give it a finish up. So now we've got his round over bit in his router with the ball bearing on the bottom, so we can just go around the edge of the wood and it'll put us a nice little round over edge on it. Right guys, we've got his edge on now, so it's just a case of giving it a spray now. Now I use this Paint Factory yacht varnish. It's the cheapest and best one I found. So if you can get this, we get it from his local pound shop. If you can find any of it, it's really good stuff. Always overshoot on your edges as well guys, otherwise you tend to find that you miss some of your edges.